Number 10, I have Victor Wembanyama. He's finally made it and broke into this top 10 NBA range. Number 9, Anthony Edwards. 8, LeBron James. 7, Kevin Durant. And I got 6, Anthony Davis.
Again, you're giving LeBron sloppy toppy. I understand it. We've talked about it. That's fine. Other than that, no issues here. We're all going to have similar names from now on, so we can roll into the next ones. Donovan, who you got?
At 10, I have Wemby. 9, I have AD. 8, I have Anthony Edwards. 9, I said that backwards. 7, I have Kevin Durant. At 6, I have Steph Curry.
Oh, man, you are glazing even more than me when it comes to Steph Curry.
Yeah, you're both giving slop. It's fine.
No, he's giving more slop, though. His slop is more messy.
You're going slop for slop. Either way, it's slop. It's fine.
No.
At 10, I have Victor Wembanyama. A clean sweep. Let's knight him. He's a top 10 player. 9, Steph Curry, where he should be, I think. Slop. 8, Anthony Edwards. 7, Anthony Davis. 6, Kevin Durant.
Okay.
Wemby's a top 10 player, y'all. It's finally here.
It's official.
Y'all in the comments are going to see this and be like, the Wemby glaze is crazy. Because you guys are always saying shit like that because he's the next hot thing to hate on. I get it. You probably have the mental image of him in the first 10 games, shooting a lot of jump shots and missing them and not looking pretty. And you're like, well, he hasn't made the leap. He's a buzz, blah, blah, blah. I understand you. But me, I have the privilege of watching the last 12 games in which he's still shooting a lot of jumpers, but those motherfuckers are going in a lot. He has truly made the leap. He has been amazing. First 10 games, he averaged 18 points, 10 rebounds, 2.4 assists, 28% from 3, and 42% from the field. Yuck. It was terrible. But in the last 11 games, 28 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 36% from 3 on 10 per game, 50% from the field, 84% from the free throw line, 3 blocks per game, 10 threes a game at 36%, while leading the league in blocks by a ton, being the runaway DPOY. There's no conversation. We're not having a DPOY debate. There's no talk online, in traditional media, on TV, anywhere, because it's a foregone conclusion that this man is a DPOY. Before the season, I said I don't think he's going to get it because the Spurs are going to be kind of mid, and I don't think the team will be good enough. They are a top 10 defense because he is taking a leap in every single defensive skill. He is by far the best defensive player in the league right now, while being a ridiculous high-volume stretch big, while shooting 80% at the rim, being an instant bucket down there. Everything you guys want to see early in the season. Everyone was get your big ass in the paint, hit these dunks, do all this stuff. He's doing that too, just not as much as you'd like, I guess. Unstoppable as a lob threat. He can attack guys off the dribble, finish with that length. Ridiculous high-volume shooter. Everything I said about Chad Holmgren and why he needs to be top 20, because he not only shuts down the rim, but stretches the court out and does all that stuff. Wemby does all those same things to an even greater degree. He's better at Chet than at everything. He is a top 10 player. You might be able to go higher by the end of the year once those averages come up.
Yeah, I could see him go as high as like 7.
I'll say 6.
8.
I'll say 6.
There's a world where he could be
6
right there with
is
Anthony
attainable.
Davis. Equal player by the end of the season. If the last 11 game stats that I said persist and you're watching this in 2 months and his season averages are 25, 10, and 5. Again, I didn't even gloss over that part. He doubled his assists, 5 assists per game. He's also a good passer that makes people better and knows how to use his size and advantages to create shots for others a little bit. It's once the scoring bag comes up a little more and he develops more of the in-between game, adds a little more strength and creates off the dribble a little bit more, he's going to be a top 5 player maybe next year or the year after that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you said everything that needed to be said about Victor Wembanyama.
And they're still going to call us Glazers. I don't care. I'll glaze in peace. I'll take that to the chin.
Leave me alone. Let me glaze in peace.
Yeah. Give me more. Yeah, I mean, is there any argument for him not to be top 10? Like, is there anything holding him back? Or is it like clear as day that he's one of the most impactful players?
No, I think even if he was the player that he was like offensively last year, but you get this year's defense, that's still top 10.
Yeah, the defense is way better. People were like, nobody really pays attention to his like niche skills because he's this big block shot guy. Last year, he was a block shot merchant a little bit. He had some flaws, he can knock him off of spots a little bit. He didn't always have the best discipline in pick and roll. Sometimes he missed the rotations. Rookie shit, that's gone. He's a truly lockdown defender.
Exactly. So it's y'all had what, a week and a half where it was Chet's and the Wemby decade of DPOYs wasn't going to start.
Yeah.
Chet's hurt now, so it's officially started. Like he's going to win the next 5. And it would honestly be shocking to me if anybody other than Wemby or Chet won DPOY over the next decade.
I know. And what's also interesting is you know, he had that slow start and it
Mhm.
got better. You would think that like his numbers would balance out and be relatively similar. He's still improved in every offensive way, and people pretend he didn't.
Yeah,
He's shooting 10% better at the rim, even counting that slow start.
that's nuts.
10% better at the rim, 80%. He is shooting 3% better on mid range and 1% better from three, even with the slump.
Yeah,
So like he's just gotten better in every measurable way, counting a slow start. Like by the time the season ends, his numbers are going to be ridiculous.
yeah, I agree.
Wow.
Someone like Wemby's just so
Happy to see it.
fascinating. I'm just curious to see. Last year, you kind of hung your hat on like, yeah, next year he's probably going to. At the end of next year, you're like, yeah, he's probably going to be able to look Anthony Davis in the eyes, which we can all agree he can look him in the eyes right now. But it's a matter of fact of like that offensive consistency and how
Yeah.
much prowess he'll be able to gain
Mhm.
by the end of the season. He can definitely do that.
Yeah, do it for longer than 12 games because we know the defense is going to be what it is. I don't have him higher just because it's only 12 games. Maybe
Yeah.
the 3-point shot goes back to not being good. He hasn't been super consistent thus far. So that's a swing factor.
But we try to tell you, second team All NBA. That's on the way.
Hmm.
That's on the way.
Oh, he's so tough. Who else? Anthony Edwards. How do y'all feel about Ant's placement? We all have him top 10. How you feeling about Ant?
I kind of felt like he should have been higher. I think there's been slight disappointments in this game. Obviously, at the start of the year, everyone's like, oh my God, what's going on with Anthony Edwards? This dude's taking like 10, 12 threes a game. That's outrageous compared to where he was last year. He's like doubling his 3-point rate. What's going on? And people were freaking out. All of us were freaking out, or at least me and Donovan were freaking out. And we're like, okay, like he's smacking these pitches though, so I guess that really doesn't fucking matter. And on top of that too, the defense is elite. Overall, like
Good.
Yeah.
Not consistently elite per se.
overall, he's having a good season and he's gotten better. But one thing that's like been so disappointing to me is just the decision making and supernatural reads that if you're a downhill demon, as like I guess I'm using Jason Tatum as an example because there's real reasons why Jason Tatum is a much better player than he was last year, 2 years ago, and so on and so forth, is because he's been able
Yep.
to make the right play just in general. It doesn't have to involve him putting the ball in the basket or even attempting to. It's like hitting the right guys in their specific corners or the wings and whatnot. And Anthony Edwards, I think just the actual like skill and ability to pass is like a genuine weakness.
Yeah, he's
like,
having
the
a bad.
accuracy
He's having a
is just
bad
not
passing
good.
season.
Yeah.
He has currently 3.9 assists per game, down from 5.5 last year, and 3.2 turnovers per game. So almost an even assist to turnover ratio. That's terrible. And, you know, that could be for a lot of reasons. Mike Conley's regressed heavily. We need more and more playmaking from Ant, which hasn't been adjusting too well. The spacing's worse now with Julius Randle instead of Cat. He needs to get better as a passer. But, y'all, the man was one of the better slashers in the league. And now he shoots 42% from three on 10 attempts per game. People moaned and groaned about it because NBA ratings are down. So I'm tired of watching threes. Now the best athlete in the league is shooting threes like everybody else. Yada, yada, yada. Sure. If you think it makes Ant more boring, cool. You're entitled to that opinion. Me, I think it makes him a fucking incredible player because he's 42% from three on 10 attempts per game. That's not just a good shooting season. That's not just a slight shooting leap.
All time.
He is one of the best shooters in the NBA
Yeah.
while being a downhill demon, while having the ability to turn it on and defend it at a high level at any moment, while having the ability to hit turnaround fades like that and have an in-between game. Just a godly scorer that if the passing comes around and he becomes a Jason Tatum level passer, like you said, then that's a top 4 or 5 player. Like,
Yeah.
it's you can't keep him out of the top 10 despite any weaknesses right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. I don't really have anything else to say. You guys covered it all.